They yanked me out of class in the middle of a school day. These are the words of Sheeta Asar, an Arizona college student, as she was escorted out of class like a criminal for using medical marijuana outside of class, which is her right under the Arizona state law, which is the state in which she resides in. These stories are being heard more and more every day. According to the St. Louis Business Journal, as of February 2020, over 31,000 people had Missouri medical marijuana cards, and it is said to be increasing by thousands each week. This is just in Missouri. The following states, in light green, have all legalized medical marijuana, and the states in dark green have legalized medical marijuana and recreational marijuana. And now we will see a short video.
More than 3 million Americans use medical marijuana to treat serious conditions, and that number is accelerating, especially among older adults, the fastest growing group, increasing 10 to 15% every year. Medical marijuana, here's what you need to know. The law. Is it legal? Under federal law, marijuana is illegal to sell, possess, or use. But 33 states plus DC now permit medical marijuana for qualifying patients. 13 states have passed laws allowing limited potency cannabis-based products, and 11 states plus DC legalized recreational use. The treatments. What does it treat, and does it work? There's a growing body of research that suggests marijuana may be helpful for treating certain conditions.
It's not a cure-all, and this is true for cannabis. The evidence base is somewhat limited. The report by the National Academy of Sciences found evidence for pain and for sleep and for nausea, and maybe there's some growing evidence for anxiety, but we're still waiting on more scientific studies to be done.
Other studies suggest that it could help treat PTSD, manage nausea from chemotherapy, and ease pain from MS and other conditions. Considering the alternatives to marijuana, some doctors hope more research will further validate cannabis-based products.
With cannabis, you always have to ask, as opposed to what else they'd be using. If they're using it instead of opiates for pain, it's much safer than that. So while cannabis is not without its harms, and it's not without its side effects, it's almost always safer than what else we've been using.
The process. Can a doctor prescribe it? State laws vary for medical use, but in most cases, a patient would first need to visit a state-certified or trained medical professional. They can't prescribe a product or dosage, but can provide formal approval for medical use.
The physician has to do a history and a physical, just like a regular doctor visit, and make sure that they have a condition that will qualify them for their card.
Typically, a patient would then need to apply to their state registry, which would issue a card that allows them to purchase marijuana at a dispensary, which could offer hundreds of products with a wide range of effects. Remember, potency varies by strain and form, and it can often be tough to gauge a patient's tolerance. Before engaging in a cannabis-based medical treatment, a patient should consult a doctor and approach with caution. There's limited scientific research, and as with any medication, effects vary by user.
Some of these are students in our very own school. I became interested in the benefits of marijuana 4 years ago, which was 4 years after I started suffering from chronic migraines. I had done extensive research on treatments and tried so many pills, so I had researched and became very familiar with medical marijuana, and it became a personal interest of mine. The current marijuana policy at Mizzou restricts the ability of medical marijuana patients to partake in their medication at convenient times. Tackling Mizzou's current policy, explaining the benefits of marijuana, and proposing a new policy will call attention to the current outdated marijuana/smoking policy. Mizzou's current policy does not offer a place for medical marijuana patients to use their medicine. According to the University of Missouri Drug and Alcohol Policy website, the policy states, University of Missouri Columbia regulation prohibits the unlawful possession, use, distribution, and sale of alcohol and illicit drugs by university students and their guests, and for employees or on university-owned controlled property at university-sponsored or supervised activities. Since marijuana is classified as an illicit substance, it is included in this policy. It does not matter if it is for medical use or not. Now that we have identified the problem, we can now begin to understand the cause of why it is important. According to the Missouri Department of Health and Safety, cannabis in Missouri is illegal for recreational use, but decriminalized through legislation passed in 2014. Medical marijuana use was legalized in 2018 through a ballot initiative to amend the state constitution and the first licensed sale began in October 2020. There's a stigma that smoking marijuana is all about getting high and living a stoner lifestyle, when in actuality, medical marijuana has been made legal in Missouri because of the health benefits that it has been associated with. According to the Inhale MD, medical marijuana has been seen to improve symptoms of the following diseases. The diseases include anxiety, cancer, chemotherapy, chronic pain, Crohn's disease, inflammatory bowel disease, depression, glaucoma, Hep C, HIV, AIDS, Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, PTSD, rheumatoid arthritis, and migraines. For some people, including myself, this is the only source of relief that we have been able to find. I myself have suffered from migraines since I was 13 years old. Over the course of 8 years, I've tried multiple pills that either didn't help, had adverse side effects, or were short-lived. When Missouri legalized medical marijuana, I spoke with the doctor that recommended that I try it to see if I could get some relief. Since using medical marijuana, it has relieved my symptoms whenever a migraine begins and has lasting effects that allow the migraine to dissipate for a substantial period of time. Now that we understand why it is important, we can propose a solution that rectifies the inherent discrimination of some of its students. The new smoking policy needs to accommodate these students. An improvement to the policy could be adding smoking areas around campus to accommodate students who legally are allowed to use medical marijuana without being disruptive to other classmates. Another improvement would be to remove disciplinary action for students that have the proper documentation to use and possess medical marijuana. Now that we understand the problem, cause, and solution, we can make the conclusion that the current Mizzou policy on medical marijuana does not accommodate the students that use medical marijuana. With all the health benefits, Mizzou needs to create a new policy that adapts to our changing times. Since Mizzou prides itself on being a school of diversity and inclusivity, these policies need to change before another student is dragged out of their class for doing what is within their rights.